Arizona lawmakers withdraws bill to restrict the medical marijuana. I knew they would. This is the Nug Life Radio Show, a higher level of education for the cannabis counterculture community. You can hear us live on KNSJ 89.1 in San Diego. KSFR, I don't know where they are. It might be San Francisco. It might not. And boom, that's in a lonely, deserted road in between Baker and Vegas. Who are we broadcasting to?
Out there?
760-798-3127. You can listen to us on nugliferadio.com. You can watch us on nuglifetv.com. And we're having a great day. I am your host, cannabis comedian, touring around the world, and I never, ever, ever sleep, I promise, Medicinal Mike. And we are here with the Nug News correspondent, Benji Cooper.
How you doing today?
Oof. And POW 420, Dennis Boisvert.
Hey, what's happening? I know, tradition is always the best.
How's it going today? We have a great day. Let me tell people what's on the show. I just flew in. On the show today, if I get a hold of him, Gold Drop, the #1 winner at the HempCon, may have just set a record.
Yeah, I think so.
For most winnings on concentrates, high CBD, high best concentrate, best indica, best sativa, like whatever it was.
They were the best.
They were sweeping the board. In one category, they won first, second, and third place, best CBD. And the only way you can do that is if, one, you have to have other people entering. People go, oh, if they're the only one that entered. Well, then you would have just gotten the first place trophy because they're expensive. But if there are multiple entries, there has to be more than 4 for there to be all 3 categories, and nobody voted for anything else but them.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, nobody voted for anything else
but
them.
That's pretty impressive.
So is there more than 4 entries?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was about 6.
Wow, that gets more
Everybody
impressive.
there has an entry. Every booth you see there has an entry at HempCon. So there's about 150 booths, so there's 150 entries in total.
Wow.
Except for like shirt companies and weird stuff like that.
Unanimous vote like that. Though.
Right.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so they killed it. Today's show is going to be about concentrates and waxes. We're going to talk about that, get a little education on the difference between butanes and CO2s. We're going to have Underground Reserves, a brand new company that just started up. I know they're in Oceanside. They're a concentrate company. And they were nice enough to donate some of their meds to us a few days ago. And we were lucky enough to try them out there at the HempCon event. And it was a great event. So we're going to have everybody on the show today. We might get Spanky Hayes on in a little bit to fill us in. He just came back from, it's not Seattle, but another part of Washington.
Spokane?
Yep, Spokane. He just came back from Spokane, Washington. He had an event up there he hosted, and he did a fantastic job. And we are now gearing up for the Chronic Kings of Comedy Tour, brought to you by Dab Slabs and I believe Smoker's Guide.
It's going to be hilarious.
That's so good. That's going to be on the side of the truck. That's so good. It's going to be hilarious.
You heard it here.
Man, don't copyright that, nobody, or .com it. Don't be the douche and get on GoDaddy right now. HempCon was a complete success, and I'll say accidentally.
It was a good show.
It was an accidental success. What a fantastic time. They had to switch because of San Jose has changed their ordinances. So... And you're going to see this a lot everywhere. The people that are paying for their co-ops, that have to pay these exuberant fees to the government and pay for their paperwork and their filings and their lawyers, are now starting to pop up, and they're open and they're legal. Well, the problem is the illegal shops have not went away.
Well, that's because it's difficult to get rid of them, really. You have to sue them, and it's done civilly, not unless they get raided, which is the other thing they can do. But basically, it's a civil procedure that can be dragged out for a while.
Well, what they are doing is they are gathering together to ban out the marijuana events that are coming to their town, because they're saying that they're also not part of what a dispensary should be, or they're inviting people that aren't part of what a legal dispensary is, according to that city. Basically, greed.
And those are easier to keep out than to...
It's not even greed. It's basically, if I got to pay $1 million to $2 million to open up a co-op, I want my money back. I got to make it back, and I can't do that with competition. So I see that with that side of the fence. But at the same time, it really sucks to rob San Jose of an awesome event where they can go out and celebrate being 215 patients.
Well, it's discrimination. The bottom line is it's discrimination, whether they like it or not. And I don't know why they don't use California laws to sue for that. The California handicap provisions are much stronger than the federal ones. And federally, I can see the argument that it's a crime, but statewide, it's a crime to discriminate against a cannabis patient.
All right, and even having the government, the problem is the government now wants their piece of the pie, and it's causing turmoil inside the community.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's one of the problems with medical cannabis. Once it becomes medical and gets off the class 1 category to either nothing at all or 2, then all of a sudden it's medicine, and medicine's not taxable.
Right, that's absolutely correct. I did get to do an interview for GQ magazine. Check me out. And it just happened to be on the day I was wearing a suit, so I look good too. And they asked a lot of questions. I feel bad because they said, who is it basically out there that isn't allowing marijuana legal? And my answers were cotton and paper, and I didn't say pharmaceuticals, which is like the number one. So I feel like a dummy in that sense, but they were still impressed.
Big alcohol is probably one of those too.
Yeah, I did mention alcohol, but pharmaceuticals is the no-brainer right there.
Oh, for sure.
Great weekend. We did Weed Smarts everywhere. I just came in. I have not stopped since. I mean, I'm literally just wound and round in the head right now. Me and Benji filmed 4 episodes of Weed Smarts, which is 20 people that we had to go through cannabis trivia and educational questions such as why is a plant green, chlorophyll. It's a lot of fun when they say chloroform. Right? And then in between the massive amounts of filming, we're doing a how-to HempCon. So I'm going around showing everybody like a HempCon survival guide.
So now you're actually earning a living.
I'm earning the money they already pay me. And then I'd have to get on stage and... the difference between how a lot of people wonder, you have a lot of hosts out there, but Mike seems to be jacking up all the shows. Here's what I'm doing different. For anybody else hosting, Adam Ill, Spanky, Stoner, Rob, I'll tell them all, take my job. I'm giving education. There's the secret. I go up there and I'm teaching them stuff in an entertaining way that they're listening.
It's not difficult.
There it is.
And the knowledge is easily accessible.
Plenty of shows for everybody. It's like 4 a day. If you want to book all the shows and you're a comic out there and you can learn how to take education and cannabis and mix them together so it's not boring, I can give you a full-time career.
Well, maybe you ought to change directions.
That's it. That is it. Adela just had a birthday?
No, that is March 3rd.
It's coming up.
The 7th, coming up.
We drew her
77th.
pictures. At Auntie's house, we all drew Adela birthday pictures, so they'll be coming. I hope she enjoys mine. I depicted you and Adela in this picture, this illustration. Adela from POW 420. POW 420, if it's your first time listening to the show, is a group that helps people who are incarcerated for nonviolent cannabis offenses. And they help get the word out, and contact with them, give them life and compassion and
we do education, and we're doing prison interviews.
Education.
Education's key.
It's a secret word.
And
That's
getting
right.
people out of prison.
That's the point. Nobody's free until all the POWs are home. That's the bottom line. That means
there's only 843,000 left inside, so you should be okay.
And they're arresting everybody every day.
And we've got at least 8 of them free.
Yeah.
It's a start.
That are doing life and that are too old to take care of, and that seems to be one of the patterns.
I got to meet George Young, Boston George, who is from Blow. The movie Blow is depicted about him, Johnny Depp's character in the movie. And amazingly enough, he looked just like Johnny Depp would in a few years.
His age.
Rough living.
Wow.
His daughter was there too. And if you've seen the movie Blow, him and the beautiful Colombian woman, they have this nice baby, and you don't really get to see the daughter, but the daughter looks like the wife was depicted in the movie. Like it looks like the daughter of Johnny Depp and who? Hot woman, hot skinny woman. I don't know her name. She's Hispanic. She's in the movie Blow. Call it today. Tell us who the
Salma
heck that
Hayek?
is. That's not it.
I don't know. I haven't seen
Racist.
the movie.
Is this Salinas? We switched everything around here at the studio. So if you're listening to the show right now, it's because we're not doing it at 5 p.m. or 8 p.m. It's just too late for us. So we're going to have Nug Life Espanol do their show late, and we're going to keep with our consistent Monday through Friday 2 p.m. showtime, except I'm late today. Whatever. When you're hearing us tonight on FM, it's actually 8 o'clock at night right now. But we did this earlier today. If you want to listen live, go to the website, nugliferadio.com. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's where you listen.
Good advice. Good advice.
KNSJ.
So Arizona lawmakers withdraws bill to restrict medical marijuana. Does that mean they're doing takebacks?
Well, this is, since it's legislative season, there's all kinds of bills that are coming out.
I have a show in Phoenix like next month.
Okay. Well, they do have medical marijuana there, and this bill would have removed physicians practicing alternative medicine from recommending or referring.
So just the cannabis alternative medicine or any alternative medicine?
It would have prevented physicians in fields like naturopathy, homeopathy.
Who brought Scott in with a disease today? Scott's working on TriCaster. Giselle's up there at anti-edible boot camp.
I think he caught it on the plane.
I hear him out there. He's choking and gagging and dying.
He said he got it from his significant other.
I'm putting a condom on right now. Okay. 760-798-3127. Nug Life Radio, a higher level of education. We're going to take a quick break. And then we're going to come back. We're going to have Undercover Reserve on the show. They're going to tell us all about what it's like being a concentrate company in a world that is against concentrate companies. Amazing. And they're doing successful, and it's tasty. We'll be back after these messages.
I'm seeing green, back in my bowl. I'm stocking up this hits here on Nug Life Radio. Don't you know Nug Life Radio?
Ex-NBA player Cliff Robinson to dispensary named Uncle Spiffy. So ex-NBA player Cliff Robinson is now opening a dispensary called Uncle Spiffy's. Big shout out to him. This is the Nug Life Radio Show, a higher level of education for the cannabis counterculture community. Medicinal Mike here with Benji Cooper, Dennis Boivera, POW 420. I hate it when celebrities decide they're going to open up dispensaries. It's the worst thing I've ever seen to come for the community. I feel like they're more taking than giving, Benji.
Well, I like the way this guy's coming at it. He says cannabis is definitely more positive alternative to pharmaceuticals at the end of the day. Those are synthetics, and I'm talking about something that's natural and bringing the outcomes you're looking for. So he's his whole angle on
So he's
this
doing it nonprofit.
No, of course not.
Of course not.
It's okay to make money, but his angle is he's wanting to provide an alternative to pharmaceuticals.
All right there, Uncle Spliffy. 760-798-3127. Our next guest on the show is a brand new company coming out of Riverside. And they're a concentrate company called Underground Reserve. We had the luxury of sampling them a few days ago. Delicious. We have them on the line, Cody and Madison. How you doing today, guys?
Great, we're doing pretty good, man.
Hell yeah. Welcome to the show. Underground Reserve, brand new company. How long have you guys been up and going? Have you had a grand opening?
Well, we don't really have a grand opening. We've been up and running since about 2010, but we've refined our techniques and kind of got it down, and we're ready to go public.
So now concentrates, for those of you who are not in California listening to the show, are when they take the trichome straight off the plant. So everything that contains the THC, CBD, CBN, and all the good cannabinoids that are in the plant, they've removed it and made it super stronger. Normal marijuana comes in at a high of 26%, whereas concentrates like Underground Reserve can be over 70 to 90% of THCs and all that good stuff. Are you guys tested? And you guys have multiple strains, which I love. I did get the chance to taste it. Delicious, like super natural flavor, which you don't find a lot. A lot of people are adding like orange, terp, and mango and all kinds of artificial things to cover up mess ups in the grow.
Yeah, we don't have any sort of artificial terps at all. Everything comes from the plant, and we base everything on our system, man. We're running a closed loop system,
What is, for those out there, can explain real quick what closed loop system is for some of those people who don't understand how to do it safely?
A closed loop system is like basically a recycle your butane. So what that's allowing you to do is
Your
keeping it a
phone
lot
is
safer.
coming in horribly,
you're coming
but
in
the other one is coming in wonderfully.
Okay, go ahead, Cody.
Anyways, yeah, so basically a closed loop system is a system that recycles butane.
So instead of
That's
the
like
traditional
the
way
bottom line of
for
it.
people at home would
What-
usually use that PVC tube and do a homemade
Yeah,
blast
PVC
and blow up
tube,
your
or
kitchen.
Some people do glass tubes or stuff like that. But the real problem with that is the butane. You know, it's not distilled. It's straight in there. You got all these dirty oils, all this nasty stuff that never gets filtered out of there. You know, it ends up giving you a darker concentrate. And
Is
you
that
got all these
harmful
terrible
for when you're
chemicals and
breathing it
stuff
in?
there.
Like you're inhaling it?
Oh,
Can
yeah,
that be?
dude, it's terrible. It's like it's the worst. You wouldn't believe it. You know, if you've seen some of the stuff that was in this undistilled butane, you wouldn't smoke any of that wax.
Oh,
It just-
absolutely.
It wouldn't.
So why does yours have such? Why is the flavor so good if you're not using like terps? Most people when you do it, it usually tastes like burnt plastic. And I
well,
don't mean to
here's
insult
our
anybody
main
else.
key.
I'm just sometimes it's a funky flavor, but your stuff seems to have a nice clear breath to it.
Well, here's the thing, man. It's just, you know, most of these guys are just taking whatever they can get and blowing it. All of our stuff comes from us. We grow it, we blow it. So, I mean, it's just a higher quality of product, you know?
Yeah, if you
also
start up
our-
if you start up with a higher
Right
grade
up in that mic, Dennis.
if you start up with a higher grade of butane to begin with, you're going to have a better product.
Well, and a higher grade of cannabis plant.
Yeah, a higher grade of product, really, to start with.
So where can people right now? How can they find this?
Well, you could check us out on Instagram, underground.reserve, or you can email me at sales@undergroundreserve.com, and that's where we're taking orders and all of that. That's basically it.
I love it. And are you guys? Is there anywhere you guys are going to be coming up? Any events or anywhere special that they can go out and come check you guys
we're
out?
doing the Blacklist right now. I think Madison was saying that we are going to be at the Denver Cannabis Cup coming
Nice.
up. We're
And
gonna have a big booth there.
and LA too. We're doing San Bernardino the second weekend, February 5th through 7th. We just locked in our booth.
Yeah, I'll be headlining. I'm the headlining comedian for High Times this year. So you see me on the main stage, and I'll probably be smoking some Stinky Pinky Underground Reserve. Whoever came up with that title, I just
That's an awesome
And,
name.
you know, the first thing I did was smell it. That was the first one I tried. And I was like, oh, that doesn't smell like a butt.
It's the good kind of
Yeah, but
stinky.
it smells fire, though.
The good kind of Stinky Pinky. You guys, thank you so much for taking the time to get on the show. Underground Reserve. One more time with your Instagram, please.
Underground.reserve.
So if you want to see what it looks like, I'm imagining you got beautiful slab pictures up there.
It's glorious on that page.
Glorious. Follow
Glorious.
them on Instagram, and then come check them out. They're going to be at the Blacklist Sesh. That's every weekend, every Sunday in Riverside. Stoner Rob hosts that one. You're going to have a great time. You're going to learn stuff, and you're going to get to medicate with some Underground Reserve. So there's no reason not to go.
Yeah, stop by the booth. We'll be handing out dabs along with other things.
Yeah.
Stop by and have a good time.
And bring your 215 rack or you're not getting in.
Yeah.
Cody, Madison, thank you guys for taking the time today. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
And-
Thank you. You too.
All right, you guys. Thank you and have a great day.
Bye. You too.
That's Cody and Madison from the Underground Reserve, one of the finest I've gotten to taste. And I just came back from the HempCon event, and this stuff was delicious.
Tasty.
Nice little side treat for the Stinky Pinky. So check them out. They're located in Riverside at Underground Reserve on Instagram. It's glorious, as they say. Glorious. This is the Nug Life Radio Show, a higher level of education for the cannabis counterculture community. And we're going to be right back after these messages with the Nug News.
I'm seeing green, packing my ball. I'm starting up this hit here on Nug Life Radio. Don't you know? Nug Life Radio.
Now, from around the world, around the country, around the corner, around and around and around we go. It's Nug Life Radio, Nug Knows with Benji.
Right, well, Costa Rica could be one step closer to decriminalization after a case last week involving Alajuela resident Mario Salazar. Salazar was arrested at his home in August after publicly advocating for personal right to cultivate cannabis for medicinal purposes. The Judicial Investigation Organism, or OIJ, which is Costa Rica's version of the FBI, reported that there was enough cannabis at the house to make 5,000 joints, or roughly 170 plants. Although
I thought you were going to say blunts. 5,000 joints, or roughly 170 blunts. Sorry.
The OIJ admitted that they had no way of knowing if the cannabis was intended for commercial use or not. Salazar was charged with drug trafficking and was in custody until last week, when he was cleared of cultivation charges on grounds of individual liberties. Judge Carolina Layton says, yes, marijuana cultivation is illegal. Nonetheless, it is not a crime if it is not utilized for sale.
Ah, well, Costa Rica's rocking and rolling, huh, Dennis?
Hey, there you go.
Why don't you pull your microphone to you? I don't understand why you want to crawl across the table. Your back must kill you at the end of the show.
Yeah, no, it's not too bad.
So we're all going to Costa Rica, which stands for the Rich Coast, and now we will all know why.
Exactly.
Legal weed. It's coming.
All right. Nobody gives a lot of crap about Costa Rica.
South America's.
It's great surfing in Costa Rica.
760-798-3127. You want to take the caller, or you want to do the next story? It's up to you, Benji.
Let's take the call. See who.
All right. Because Benji says it's okay. Hey, caller, what's your name and where'd you go? Oh, I pushed the wrong button. I bet you they still have the voicemail on it. It's scaring away. My phone board keeps lighting up, and then I keep pushing it, but then I watch them drop off, and I'm like, they're voicemailing.
They got scared.
Go on. What's the next story?
So the U.S. Justice Department and the DEA filed a motion last week to have a lawsuit by the Menominee Indian tribe of Wisconsin to dismiss. Well, the tribe filed suit last year after federal authorities seized 30,000 hemp plants from a grow site on the tribal land in October. They suspected the marijuana was being grown with the hemp. The tribe claims that it has the right to grow hemp under the 2014 Farm Bill, which allows states to grow industrial hemp in compliance with state laws. But the federal agencies argue that the tribe doesn't meet the key criteria since the tribe isn't a state and hemp cultivation isn't allowed in Wisconsin. They also suggest that the tribe failed to get the required permits under the Controlled Substances Act to grow hemp for industrial use.
Whose permits, man? They're the Indians. You have taken everything from them. If they want to grow some weed, you let them grow some weed. I mean, Native Americans, Alaskan natives.
Right.
What happened to sovereign nation? I mean, come
There's
on.
that.
You know, we stole most of the country from them.
Borrowed. Still here.
Yeah, really.
Well, and even last year there was something, I forget the name of the bill or whatever that was signed, but they said that the federal government was supposed to be taking their hands off of the whole. They were going to let Native Americans do what they wanted.
Here's exactly what we were talking about. As soon as elections come around, you start hearing all these statements come out very publicly, and that's Arizona's got weed a coming, and we're giving all the Native Americans their own grow plots. As soon as that mess is done, they flip right back. Arizona's pulled their bills back. The Indians can't grow weed anymore. If you ever have been to an Indian reservation, it is horrible. It is horrible living conditions. I don't mind saying it, too. It's usually these adobe crap houses that are sitting on a desert somewhere, and there's just nothing there. Alcoholism plagues the towns. It's horrible. It's horrible.
And that's why
the source of income that they're trying to strip from them so that they can control their own incomes.
Exactly, and that's what this was going to be for. Initially, they were going to open this is where that resort was going to open. They were going to convert the bowling alley into a weed resort, open up a hotel. And this is, again, why a lot of reservations will open casinos, which actually does well for some of them. A lot of them around here have done
Could
well
you
with
just show up there, or did you have to call ahead?
To where?
The reservation.
Where's my rim shot? No, but yeah, that's
all right. I didn't have a rim shot.
Okay. So yeah, it's in the source of income that this is, again, it's
teepees are very uncomfortable. There's no air conditioning. Fur's usually laying all over the floor. That's hot.
Fleas.
Thanks, Dennis. I thought he would come out with something smart to make it my slightly racist comment come out less slightly racist against the Native Americans. Most Native Americans are not living in teepees anymore on fur carpeted floors in the desert. They actually have central air and very good medical conditions.
True fact.
What else you got, Benji?
Colorado House Representatives Jonathan Singer and Casey Becker have introduced legislation which would require labeling of cannabis products to designate whether or not pesticides were used in cultivation. Under HB 1079, the Colorado Department of Agriculture would have independent companies certify which cannabis is pesticide-free. According to Devin Lyles of the Farm...
But they don't have to mark if they have pesticide in them, do they?
Yes. I would believe that's part of this.
Does food do that? Does food have to do that?
I was going to
No.
say, they don't even label GMOs, never mind.
You know what that is? Listen, and here's the real truth, and you're going to hear it right here. Organic weed usually sucks. I'm sorry. I said it. I know everyone's proud. We grew up with a fish head and a couple banana peels. But the reason that they have made some of these cool nutrients and concentrate, it's not from a lab somewhere. They've taken all the good stuff from the earth and put it in a bottle, and it turns your weed blue and makes it tasty, and it adds CBDs or THCs or whatever else unnatural conditions. I'm all for it.
I don't know. I've tasted some pretty darn good organic cannabis.
Yeah,
before.
but have you ever had like that lime green indoor hydro sticky icky? Because all hydro that's not organic whatsoever, any of that indoor. So that stuff that sticks to the wall when you press it against the wall, they're saying, boo that. I want you to smoke because you've been smoking crap weed. Crap weed's starting to taste good to you, Benji. That's what I see.
No. I have a very discerning palate.
I do like the
Most
taste,
weed
like
do-
a good Blue Dream or something. But, I mean, if I'm really looking for something gourmet, I'm looking for indoor, hydroponic, and it's just water and newts. It's not even, they don't even use dirt. No part of earth was used in making a hydroponic plant.
I like the earthy taste. I like I like it grown in dirt. They're better than hydroponically.
Well, when they give us a big pile now, we know which ones I'm taking and you guys are taking.
Hey, I like both of them. I'm just saying, I have had some pretty good organically grown. It was sweet. It was very those dense nugs that are you just have to break apart and there's more and more.
There's a lot of good organic.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I think hydroponic indoor with all kinds of artificial stuff is better.
I bet you
It
don't eat
does taste
quiche
good.
either.
No, I don't eat quiche or use pads.
What about organic pesticides?
And see, now I'm all for organic pesticides like the chrysanthemum plant and nicotine, like from tobacco plant, is used in a lot of pesticides. Nicotine, probably not so organic.
Yeah,
But the chrysanthemum itself, let's just stick with that. Nicotine's in a lot of pesticides. Big surprise.
So they get neonicotinoids, I believe they're called.
Right. So if
from
you're
that.
still smoking cigarettes, you'll never get roaches in your lungs.
marigolds are a good what they call it, complementary crop.
Well, they have a lot of these plants. You can even grow around it. You can grow peppers and stuff, mint, and it will keep bugs away from the plant and not hurt the flavor of the plant.
Right.
If you want to go organic. But I like adding sugar and molasses and all kinds of stuff that isn't found in the ground. And if you're going to say organic pesticides, it's still going to be an organic plant.
Right, because those use
Rose and
essential
thyme.
oils and stuff.
All it
They're
requires
safe
is
to
a good
consume.
couple days of fleshing first before you start harvesting it.
Well,
And
anything that you grow properly with good flushing, you're going to have an emptied out plant. Right?
True.
Right.
Yeah.
You're going to get rid of the.
So we're all for
the
indoor
pesticide.
hydro?
I'm for all of it as long as it's safe,
I like it. But, if we
Tastes
get like
good.
Chuck in here from Emerald Triangle Genetic, I'm organic all the way, bro.
He grows some pretty good bud, though, I got to say.
I love organic. I
He does.
have a sexual relationship with indoor hydroponics.
So you're into
Understandable.
truly organic.
All right. Well, I like my THC to be over 25%.
Yeah.
And that's
I
hard to
gotta
do
agree with you on
organically
that one.
when you're dealing with weather conditions, and stuff like that. Right, Dennis?
Yes, you're
All right.
correct.
760-798-3127, the Nug Life radio show at our new time. A lot of people are just be tuning in right now going, we're halfway through the show. It's going to be awesome. Nug Life radio right after us. You can listen to Nug Life Espanol, the exact same education in a completely different language.
You can understand one or both of us.
Right. Nug Life radio. We'll be right back after these messages.
I'm seeing green, packing my ball.
40,000 pounds of medical marijuana consumed in Arizona in 2015. Well, that's going to be an issue. And Kansas Supreme Court voids successful Wichita decriminalization initiative. This is the Nug Life Radio Show, a higher level of education for the cannabis counterculture community. You could hear us 5 days a week in a row, sort of. I'm Additional Mike here with the Nug Newsman, Benji Cooper, and Dennis Boisvert, our Tuesday soldier for the POW420.com.
March on.
March on, brother. How you guys doing? Are we having fun still?
We're having
Absolutely.
loads of fun.
I am exhausted still. So if you're like, wow, that commercial break seemed like a minute too long, it's because I haven't stopped since HempCon. Great
that,
time. Yeah, before that. What did we do before that?
This is the week of shows, and then
Blacklist.
you were out in
New Mexico for the Get
and
Lifted
the show
tour,
bef-
which is
the
now going
shows
to
before
Phoenix,
that.
Arizona. I just got word of that today. We're going to start promoting that. I am your headlining comic at the High Times Cannabis Cup on the main stage. Check me out. Ungayo Beelum, double booked.
Oh.
So it's me and Mikey Gordon. So we're going to co-headline together. He's a little new, but he's still awesome, and apparently he's a great booker. Chronic Kings of Comedy Tour coming up. We are wrapping that up there. Dab Slabs, thanks to them. Really cool what Dab Slab is a container that has like it holds your vapor pen, your wand, like all your tools and stuff.
Okay.
And it's like titanium, but it's not titanium. It's got a cool case. I've only seen it once.
Adamantium.
Adamantium, right?
Nice.
Vibranium.
It's made of unobtainium.
Yeah, unobtainium. That's what it
Unobtainium.
is. Unobtainium is the hardest metal, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Because adamantium is what Wolverine's claws are made of, and then vibranium is what Captain America's shield is made of,
Yes.
and then unobtainium would be what they did. Who?
It's so hard that nobody can get it.
Get out of here. I'm going to check my Marvel facts. This has been, so far, a great show today. Big shout out to Underground Reserve for spreading some education onto your ears, blessing your day with a little bit of knowledge when it comes to concentrates. Yeah, so now you know the difference between a clean concentrate and a not clean concentrate. So if it looks like a fireworks show when you put fire to it, then you're not doing it right, and you want to look up some closed loop extracts.
And if you don't know if it's a bad extract before you dab it, you will afterwards.
Yeah, we'll find out. You know, usually your bud tender or whoever's working the dab bar is more than happy to tell you what went in there, what kind of flavors you have. And luckily, some companies like Underground Reserve have a whole bunch of flavors.
It's nice to taste that too.
It's nice to be able to tell the difference. That's when you know you got skill. When you're like, that's an OG Kush.
You walk away from the rig just smacking your lips like that.
Right. Cannabis Cup I'm excited for. They get 100,000 people a day or something like that.
Wow.
Probably, I would say 1.5 million over the 2 weekends is what's expected.
Oh my gosh, that's well, it is high times. So
High
it's a big name.
times. So very happy to have come to a point in my career. I got to spend the whole Jamaican Cup with those guys, and now I get to show off on their stage and show them why there can be only one.
Very cool.
So that's going to be great. Let's see what's going on in my easy news. 40,000 pounds of medical marijuana consumed in Arizona in 2015. Now, it just said Arizona lawmaker withdraws the bill to restrict marijuana. What's going on there?
Well, they have a medical program there, but there's people that are still on.
So they're
They're
not
stuck on-
responding to the medical program is the problem.
They're
coming
stuck
out
in the
getting their cards.
prohibition mindset. Like that one that was. Let me see if I can pull that one.
Now,
up here.
does Arizona accept? It does accept California's cards in Arizona, don't they now?
I'm not sure of that. I don't think so. Last I checked, Arizona only accepted Arizona's cards.
And how do we get an Arizona card as a resident of California?
You can't. You have to be a resident of
Yeah, but I have
Arizona.
shows, Dennis.
Well,
Without reciprocity.
as I always go to my go-to phrase, illegal's a sick bird.
Yes, it is. And I'll be flying her all the way into Phoenix for the Get Lifted tour.
Well, hopefully, eventually, they'll all have reciprocity, or if it's made legal, then
Well,
it
what's a
won't be an issue.
reciprocity? Let's just pretend like I don't know everything.
Reciprocity is one state agrees that the laws that are enforced in their state will also be enforced, and you're able to have the same activity.
So like Las Vegas right now has a reciprocity because they're accepting every state's medical marijuana card.
Exactly. Like you get a speeding ticket in New Hampshire, and if they have reciprocity with New Jersey, then you better pay the ticket.
Yeah, that's a good thing, too. If you're in Arizona, they can look you up in California for Arizona, but it doesn't usually work the other way around.
Yeah. Well, you know, with the state card or the medical marijuana card from the state, it's a website, and anybody that has access to the internet can look it up and
if you
verify
don't
it.
have a reciprocity, and let's say I got a speeding ticket in Wichita, right, and then I move to Colorado, can I just re-get my driver's license again?
It doesn't count against your license. Nobody knows that you got
Because
the
you don't have a
ticket.
license for that state.
No, because there's no reciprocity. The state of
Where were you in the 90s, my friend?
See, if you get a speeding ticket, all you have to do is move to a different state, and
Right.
you're good.
Start your life over
Not
again.
all
Yeah.
states some states have reciprocities with another, so then it counts as points against your license.
You just got to know which ones don't have it and go
Right.
there.
Then you can break all the
Easy.
traffic laws and leave happily. If they
I'll
don't-
be working my way to the East Coast.
It's a simple, quick fix.
That's insane. All right, let's try this. 760-798.
Aw.
3127 if you want to call the show. I keep looking over late. We don't have a ringer, so I have to notice when the lights turn green and stuff. And then when I see them, I'm usually saying something cool, and I don't have time to push the button.
I can always call back.
Sorry, Andrew. He thinks the show's going to end. He doesn't know we still have another freaking hour here at Nug Life Radio,
We
the
do.
most fantastic place in the world where you can get cannabis education live on your FM station. Our voice is a little cracked because we've been on the stage and filming all weekend at the wonderful HempCon San Francisco. The next event is 420 weekend for HempCon.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fun, usually a lot bigger. And it's supposed to be a HempCon 2.0 because they're revamping a lot of stuff and trying to make the show better. They've been losing a little grasp with the community, I think. And now they're digging back in and they're saying, hey, let's start giving a little,
Well, I got to say that Saturday, it seemed like there was a lot of people there.
It was awesome. Accidentally. I just came from the meeting. I said awesome accidentally. Usually they like to put up billboards and stuff. No billboards, So look at how much money you would have saved not using that billboard. You can build that back into the show.
I didn't see any billboards. What I did see was those, what do you call them? Like
Street
there's like
signs?
the little street signs that look like election campaign
Yeah,
signs.
and they put those at the corner. Those are maybe a 20th of the cost.
Yeah.
And they don't bring so much attention. Some attention is not always good attention when it comes to cannabis events.
Well, they've been running this event how many years now?
I'm on my 5th.
In your 5th, so this is like one of the older traditional events.
Yes.
That everybody
and it used
knows.
to be like Comic-Con. You would go there, and it was rows of booths. People were dressing up, and it was a lot. It was a celebration. It was so much fun and so much education, and every booth had something to say. And now it's slowly become a concert. More of the higher dollar companies. So they're digging back in, and I'm very curious to see what they come out with next.
They also had at the Cow Palace, haven't they, traditionally?
Yeah, Cow Palace, Nas Center, every city that they go to about 8 different cities.
Yeah, okay.
So I travel all over. Nug Life Radio, a higher level of education. We're going to take our top of the hour break. We're coming back with another great hour because it's Tuesday, our 2-hour show until we talk to our affiliates. So stay tuned. We're still here. KNSJ 89.1 FM.
I'm seeing green, packing my ball. I'm starting up this hits here on Nug Life Radio. Don't you know Nug Life Radio?
Everybody, welcome to the Nug Life Radio Show, a higher level of education for the cannabis counterculture community. Hour 2, because we're at a new time. You can reach us at 760-798-3127. If you get the voicemail, just hit any of the buttons. Somebody will pick it up. We are the only cannabis education show syndicated live on multiple FM stations. You can hear us on KSFR, K-Boom, KNSJ, and the lately deceased K-High, which you can't hear us anymore because it's not there. So, and So Fakin' Radio, NugLifeRadio.com, Nug Life TV if you want to watch what we're doing. There's a lot of ways to get your education, and we are the people that are delivering it to you. I am your host, cannabis comedian, and lover of all things that are green, especially St. Patrick's Day. Medicinal Mike here with the Nug News correspondent, Benji Cooper.
Oh, yeah.
Scooper Cooper. And Dennis Boyver, POW 420.
Yipper.
You're working on it. Cannabis replacing the cocoa leaf in Colombia's cultivation zones. Yay for that. That depends, though. Is the coca leaf make Coca-Cola or cocaine?
Well, it used to make Coca-Cola. It makes cocaine.
Did it used to make? Oh, they used to put cocaine in Coca-Cola. That's a fact.
Well, yeah, coca. That's where it got its name. Coke from coca plant.
So, why would they do that now? As an advocate, yay, but in real life, I'm sure they're making more profit off of the one, unless now that everybody else is consuming more because of legalization, that they're turning a high profit, and people are smart now when it comes to cocaine and don't want to fry their brains.
Basically, South America legalization is starting to pop up, and in Colombia, that's one of the countries where it has, and legalization is happening there. So they're switching more over to that. They say there's more of a market for retail and micro trafficking.
I just watched Blow last night, so I feel like an expert on Colombia right now. Anything you want to know. Israel to allow general practitioners to prescribe medical marijuana. Practitioners practicing medical marijuaners. Israel's always been at the cutting edge, and everybody should learn an example from them. They are actively treating the sick every day. They line up, and they treat them one by one at a place called, I don't know how to say it in Israeli, but it's Heal the World.
Yeah, actually, it was an Israeli scientist that actually
we could hear a smile, Dennis.
Discovered the cannabinoid system and helped make the big breakthrough for us to be able to get medical marijuana now.
Yeah,
big research coming out of Israel then.
That makes me proud to be half a Jew. I think we came from there. Whatever. It's been a great show. We still have a great show lined up for you. We've had the Underground Reserves, Cody and Madison. They came in and educated us on concentrates and all kinds of good stuff there. We're going to find out today about how you can help out with POW 420, where your next coolest event is for medical marijuana or recreational marijuana, depending on what state you live in. What else are we going to teach them, Dennis? All right.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right. So HempCon, again, we just came out of that. We're headed into the Cannabis Cup. What I like, first of all, too many freaking events. I got to say, there are way too many events going on. It's losing its specialness really fast. Cannot not do them all because Cannabis Cup is this weekend, and then I'm supposed to be during the week at Champs in Las Vegas, and then I'm supposed to be back for Cannabis Cup for the second weekend.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, well,
and then it's San Diego. They're having the Harbor Collective grand opening on the 13th. Then the 15th is the Seedless Party, and then the 20th is the New Hampshire Winter Classic, and the Dab Slabs a Wagon will be driving us all over that place.
Yeah, that is a lot of events.
It's a lot of events, and that's just what I can remember. That's up till February. But they are filling up. And I know Phoenix is in there somewhere, too. I got to go to Phoenix and apparently not smoke anything, while everybody else who has a card has a great time.
New Hampshire.
I don't know what's going on out there either.
New
Scott's
Hampshire just
dying.
became
Nobody
a
let
medical
Scott
state.
back into the studio. He's dying out there. We are going to have to bury a corpse. I wanted to do a cool cannabis game with him today, but I can't think of anything from here short of writing it on a playing card and flinging it out to the media studio out back
Don't have
there.
any dart guns.
Do you think his being sick is a ploy to keep from being abused by getting
That he's
questions for-
faking it. He doesn't want us to
Yeah.
paint him up or shock collar him.
Yeah.
You know what they say is feed the flu and shock the cold.
Yeah, I heard
think I've
something
heard
like
that,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some
Right.
Old Farmer's Almanac.
Right. Old
saying.
Israeli
Yeah.
grandmothers teach their kids. They used to hook them up to car batteries when they were sick.
That's what that ancient battery was for.
All
The
right,
ghost
Scott.
fairy
Are you
found
ready
in
to
it.
be cured out there?
Clears you right up.
We are going to have a great show. We are having a great show. I'm just as exhausted as I can be. We are doing our best to get every bit of education out to you. Make sure you check out Nug Life TV, Weed Smarts. This is the funnest new thing that we're doing, and we go around everywhere out in public, not just marijuana events, and we just ask random people to find out what the education level of our community is.
I had a lot of fun shooting that over the weekend.
Well, you know what I was most pleased at the participation level. I had one activist, and I won't name his name because I didn't even take the time to want to know it. We did an activist division, and the activist, if you're an activist or you're a self-proclaimed activist and somebody offers you a microphone, I don't care what it is, you get up there and you speak, and you get the message out, and who cares what even the subject is. That's why activists are sometimes hard to work with, because they're just going to blab, 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 because they know you're listening now, you're not might be listening later. This is what's important. So there's one gentleman there who I've known as one of Jack Harrah's best friends, self-proclaimed. And I've seen him at multiple events, and he sells potato sacks, you know, the 50-kilo bags that you would shove all your marijuana in back in the day, or if you're in Colombia.
Sacks made from hemp.
Right. And unfortunately, I can't remember his name because I would love to blast him out right now. And I went over there, and I'm like, hey, we're doing an education thing. We just want to get some education out. No, I can't help you. No, I can't. It's just really rude. And it took me back for a second. I'm like, we're friends. I just bought stuff from your booth. And, like, you know we're friends. We know each other, right? I'm just wearing a stupid hat. And he's like, no, I know who you are. And I'm like, okay, well, do you know where Uncle Stoner is? Or Jeff Clark I was looking for. And he says, no, don't, you know. And I'm like, I had to let him know how I felt. And that's that. I says, you know, you say that you're an activist, that's what I call him now, that he's an activist, and he's out there making money off the community. He makes his living going show to show to show, selling these things. And the last thing I remember saying to him was, I expect better from you. And I walked away from him, and he looked so sad and just like called out. But I don't play that. I mean, I hate filming. You start filming when you're in a 10-hour day and you're just all day long. I hate it. There's nothing I want to do than walk up to you in a big green top hat and ask you which two historic figures advocated for hemp. But it's important, so we do it.
Yeah, that's exactly why we're doing it. It's
Absolutely.
tiring. Right.
Is that all you got to say? Is
No,
absolutely, Dennis? I expected a lot more out of you, sir.
This would be a good segment to talk about
Expected
jury
more out of you.
nullification. Yeah.
Well, you can't because we got to take a break. But when we come back, we can talk about jury nullification with Dennis Boisvert, POW420.com. Not buying any kilo bags for the wall. I feel like we have one in here somewhere.
A kilo bag?
You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
If you're an activist and you don't speak up, don't waste. You're not an activist. You're an activist or a faketivist. This is Nug Life Radio, where we're speaking up so you can hear us. The only cannabis education show syndicated on FM. We'll be right back after these messages. 760-798-3127.
I'm seeing green, packing my ball. I'm starting up this hits here on Nug Life Radio. Don't you know Nug Life Radio?
And we're back, the Nug Life Radio Show, a higher level of education for the cannabis counterculture community. And whole plant medical marijuana bill unveiled in Utah state legislature. Whole plant medical marijuana is one that I strictly am totally for, because most places are just throwing notice to CBD and stuff when it's actually THC, Delta-9, CBN, THC, A, B. There's all kinds of cannabinoids that are in there, and just because they're not researched doesn't mean they're not helping you. Every part of this plant helps you.
It's like maple syrup isn't the only part of the maple tree that's legal.
Right. It's not the best part of a pancake breakfast. You don't just eat the syrup. This is Nug Life Radio, 760-798-3127. After we're done, Nug Life Espanol, same show in Espanol with Benji Reyes and Monica Sladovitsky. It's a weird it's a Mexican Jew thing. Benji Garcia Reyes, you can hear every Tuesday on Nug Life Espanol. And you can see him on Nug Life TV floating around me in the back. So make sure you check that out. We are going to be tonight at the Brea Improv. Benji Garcia Reyes is hosting Stoner Rob's. I think he's filming, but I know he's headlining. He might be filming tonight. I'm featuring Poppin'. So we're going to get a chance to be on stage. Bruce Jingles is going to be out there, and Zach Miller, and all the great comics that are floating around the world.
Sounds like a party.
It's going to be a party. It's going to be a fiesta. All right? Benji, a fiesta. Fiesta. So, jury nullification, Dennis.
Jury nullification is something that's been taken away from the citizens of the United States by the jury system.
What is it?
It is a juror is supposed to vote with his heart and his intellect, and if they feel that a law is being misapplied, like for instance the manufacturing laws, and that the person they're applying it to is done for discrimination reasons, not because they're violated the law, or the law itself is not a legal law, they can vote not guilty. And all it takes is one not guilty vote, and you have a hung jury.
Now, how does that, just to play devil's advocate, what about situations that deal with racism, where you have a lot of times an all-white jury going against some poor black man who's being accused of something he probably didn't do, which happens a lot, but then he still gets a 20-year sentence, and then in 15 years they flip it, and da-da-da. Where's, how is that beneficial there?
Were you talking about the South in the 50s?
Yes, I am. Or the South today.
Yeah. Jury nullification isn't a guilty plea. What it is finding the person not guilty or not have violating the law or the law being misapplied. So what you don't get a guilty plea out of that.
Can it be manipulated? So that, let's say, you gave me $1 million, so no matter what happens, I'm going to vote not guilty.
The difference between jury nullification and that is called bribing a jury and jury tampering. And
one's not legal, right?
One's not legal,
Okay.
exactly. So
which one? No.
So with jury nullification, you're basically saying you don't believe that the law is just or just in that case.
Right. And as a juror, you're protected from prosecution for voting with your heart. So there's no problem with that. In fact, the state of New Hampshire has a jury nullification law, but
we can't hear you. You're on radio, Dennis.
Sorry. New Hampshire has a jury nullification law that allows the defense attorney to express to the jury that they not only can decide guilt or innocent, but whether the law is applied right or whether it's a good law or not.
So jury nullification is the main reason that people choose to represent themselves. In parts where you would hear that someone represents themselves because they believe they're going to sweet talk or persuade a jury through emotion. That's where it would benefit, because if you didn't have jury nullification, then, as they say, an idiot who represents himself as an idiot for a client.
Right, and one of the problems is in jury instructions you'll get, the judge will always say, and they always comes down to that, we're the ones that interpret the law, you don't interpret the law. And the argument of the people involved in jury nullification is the fact that that if it's a government of the people, by the people, they should decide how the law is applied. And that would be the way the federal papers see it. But then again, that takes the power away from a judge. It takes the power away from the court. And my way of thinking, it would save us a lot of money from putting people in jail that's like a medical patient that gets caught transporting a pound of cannabis and ends up facing 25 years to life.
That's what, watching that movie Blow and having hung out with Boston George, my new best friend, the cocaine dealer, Boston George, ex-cocaine dealer, who has served his time, so please stop writing that on my Facebook page about, it's some big drug dealer. This man had not, if marijuana was not illegal and they weren't locking people up on a daily basis, I strongly believe that cocaine would not be the problem it was, specifically in this case, because everything that he learned about distributing cocaine came out of being locked up in prison with nothing but time on his hands. Because in the book, he was very happy with marijuana. He was very happy and was persuaded through the fact that, hey, we just took your whole life away. When you get out, you have nothing again. The victim is the crime.
Well, if Colombia is any indication, what we just talked about a little bit ago, how they're switching from cocaine to cannabis, which actually the big crop there used to be cannabis back in the 70s, but when that, became illegal.
No, I don't know, man.
Right. Well, when you could pack more cocaine than you can cannabis in a plane and get a higher profit, then, that's naturally what
cocaine
happens.
became a big boom.
So Colombia's not really interested in the medical value of the plant. They're actually just kind of trying to profit from the money that we're leaving left behind.
Exactly.
Oh, man, that's a nice consensus. This is Nug Life Radio, a higher level of education, jury nullification. Do you have it? POW420.com. You can get all kinds of education on anything that has to do with a courthouse and cannabis offenses. Check out Dennis Boisvert and Adela Falk. They will teach you. This is Nug Life Radio. We'll be back after these messages with Nug News from Benji.
I'm seeing green, back in my bowl. I'm
Nug Life Radio, Nug Knows with Benji.
The California Senate approved AB Assembly Bill 21 with a 35-3 vote on Monday, a bill that is intended to slow the slew of cities in the state rushing to ban marijuana cultivation. A paragraph in California's recently signed medical marijuana regulations authorizes the state to license growers in jurisdictions that do not have their own laws on the books by March 1st. This has resulted in cities and counties enacting marijuana cultivation bans before the deadline to preserve local control over cannabis, though some apply only to commercial cultivation. The League of California Cities and the California Association of Police Chiefs have expressed their support of the bill, but advised their members to enact cultivation bans ahead of the deadlines as a precaution. Assemblyman Jim Wood, who helped write the regulations last year and introduced the fix, says it's crucially important that the deadline is repealed as soon as possible, and he's confident we will get this done soon.
All I hear is the government working ways to keep getting money out of cannabis people through arrests.
Absolutely.
Well,
It's just
this is them trying to fix an accident. Part of the language, apparently.
Well, that sounds like their fault.
Yeah.
But it sounds like we're going to pay the penalty because they screwed up, and now, we're going to fix it and jump in early and bust a bunch of people, and let's get what money we can before we switch it.
exactly. And how disingenuous can you be for the Police Chiefs Association to turn around and say, gee, we really like the bill, but hurry up and get your regulations in so we can bust you before
Right.
it passes.
Well, they say they support the fix, though, because that's what the problem is here right now, is that the language in the bill was saying that if you don't enact your own laws in your cities and your counties by March 1st, all that power of control defaults to the state. So these police chiefs and the League of California Cities are both saying that
I like
it's,
that,
it's
personally.
in your best interest to do this in the now until they can get this fixed. Like the guy,
No, it's if you're out there and you have a city and you run a city and you don't want marijuana, you get off your butt and you get out there and you speak up and say we don't want it, and we're either A, gives us a chance to educate you and find out if there's a way that we can work together, or B, sit back, shut up, and let us do our thing. And, the biggest thing is we're going to do it anyway. That's the one thing they don't seem to
Right.
realize, that no matter what games they play or they pretend to shift everything around, business hasn't changed from day one.
The problem is it just gives more cannon fodder, and more people end up in jail, and more people will be end up suffering, and families, and over this nonsense and the greed. I mean, we still have asset forfeiture. How does the police chiefs come out about asset forfeiture?
Here's something, and it might be a little off topic, but I wanted to ask you guys before I forget. I went to Walmart this weekend, and there was a DARE booth, Drug Abuse Resistance Education. And my girlfriend Megan had went by the booth the first time, and they started to pitch her for money, and she said, I smoke weed, and just walked away, right? She didn't want to hear it. And I was like, okay, I want to go see this, because I'm offended by that DARE exists. I mean, I appreciate what they're doing, but it's too much crisscrossing. And I'm over there with the girl, and I says, hey, I host a cannabis education show, when she hit me about DARE. And then the mother's back there going, oh, no, this is for the kids. I go, no, we medicate kids too, seizures, cancer, and everything. And then the girl told me, she goes, oh, well, DARE has removed cannabis from their list.
Really?
I'm shocked to see if they actually did that.
That's what I said. That's exactly
but,
what I said.
you know-
I'd be shocked, and if they did, I support that. I support not letting kids, giving them education on cocaine and heroin, and giving them education on cannabis. If you're a kid, you shouldn't be recreationally smoking cannabis in high school and any school, but if you're a kid and you're battling cancer, you have to deal with chemotherapy. I would like that kid to be the first one to go, hey, Mom, instead of doing this, can we try cannabis therapy?
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting. The definition of a drug or a pharmaceutical is that it's basically a poison, and because you can take enough of it and it'll kill you. Where cannabis, that isn't an issue. You can't take enough of cannabis to kill you, so it really isn't a pharmaceutical.
Can't get enough of it.
That's usually the problem.
Yeah, I've been trying to kill myself with that stuff for decades now. I'm proving that we're doing a great job here.
And it just doesn't work, huh?
No, it does not work.
I would have been surprised, though, if DARE had removed cannabis from
I would just like to know, hey, why is DARE tricking people? Because how many people in California, you run a DARE, you must be hearing that 1 in 4 people. I'm on cannabis, I smoke cannabis, to where they have to say now, in order to collect funds, we've removed it from our list, and I don't think that's true. I feel like we just did a dare story.
We did a couple last year because one of the incidents last year was they accidentally posted a pro cannabis article on their website. That was one of them, and then or pro legalization, and the other one was an article from one of those fake news sites like
The Onion or
something like that, but it was all, I think this one was purely cannabis
New York
based.
Times, anything by Fox.
Either way, like it was saying that
Fake news, Dennis Fox, get it?
it was fake news, and if you read the article and looked at the site, it's obviously fake, but it was posting these ridiculous however many people have overdosed and died from marijuana and stating it as fact. And so they took that, not realizing that it was satire, and they posted it on their front page, and then people came and said, hey, you should know that's not real. It's a joke. And then they took it down.
Showing that they have zero education when it comes to cannabis.
Yeah.
And that's one of their problems is they basically what they've said about cannabis has been a lie. They've been toting the lie. They've been standing by the lie. And now it's coming home to roost. And
do they know it's a lie now at this point?
Exactly. So the easiest way to deal with it is to tell you, no, we're not lying anymore. Go away so we can collect money.
Right. I'm not for DARE. There's a company called CARE that's a cannabis education that's going out there to combat DARE. And if DARE had removed it from the list, they wouldn't exist either. I might even have to write a story because I wonder how many of these DARE people, even if we go around and kind of hunt them out, are going to tell you that they've removed cannabis from their list when in fact they haven't. Just to get your money out of there. Because then that's showing that
dishonest.
the interior of DARE knows, darn well that cannabis is a positive in our community, and now they have to just lie and say whatever they can.
Well, the funny thing about it is DARE gets funding from the federal government, and so does a couple of these organizations that go around, and you're not supposed to be doing any political advocacy if you're getting money from the federal government. And right now, to me, cannabis is more of a political issue than anything else.
Now, are they doing political advocacy at DARE?
Well, I mean, if you go to a city council meeting and you talk how terrible cannabis is, that's political advocacy. I mean, if you're going to go to a political forum and tell them your story, that's lobbying.
What else you got in the news? Sorry, DARE was up my butt. Bad timing.
West Virginia Representative Lloyd Arnold introduced HB House Bill 2807 recently with 4 bipartisan co-sponsors. As written, the legislation would amend the state's industrial hemp laws to allow the state to license growers and processors without them having to obtain permission from the federal government.
As it should be.
Yeah.
You don't have to ask to grow strawberries.
Currently, hemp can only be grown for research purposes in West Virginia at universities and in compliance with federal recommendations. HB 2807 will cut the federal government out of the state's hemp policy completely. In early 2014, President Obama signed a new farm bill which did include a provision allowing certain states to begin limited hemp research programs under the Hemp Amendment. And while hemp farmers in West Virginia would still have to take federal law into consideration, HB 2807's elimination of the state requirement for federal permission would remove a major obstacle for potential commercial hemp farming in the state.
Can amendment.
Sounds like make work for lawyers, if you ask me.
Maybe, but if enough of them do it, then,
That's still, you're going to,
Well, now, what's the difference now? How are they going to know the difference between growing hemp and growing pot? I mean, real folks, it's the same thing. One is crappy pot, and one is good pot. That's the only difference. So if they okay hemp, you can grow pot, have some beautiful balm, and say it's hemp. Or is it you can't flower it?
It's a different kind of plant, so it doesn't.
Well, it's a ruderalis plant, but it still contains some
trace amounts of
trace amounts, yeah.
Which
so
is,
if you were having something that you were growing to smoke, would not be a ruderalis plant, and it'd have more than.
Well, we smoked those things through the 80s, man. Let's get them in bricks.
Yeah.
So okay, whatever, fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
Everybody
I had a
needs-
loophole. What else you got, Benji?
Well, 22-year-old Leland Doliente and 23-year-old Holland Sward were traveling from Nevada to Montana last week, and everything was going smoothly until the pair decided to get high. See, the 2 young men were traveling with over 20 pounds of marijuana, and after smoking some, they became paranoid to the point that they thought that they were being followed by undercover police. After getting off the highway in Rexburg, Idaho, they called 911 from a gas station to turn themselves in after attempting to flag down the undercover cops. After giving the dispatcher the address, the police were sent to the gas station where they found Doliente and Swart in full surrender with their hands on their heads. The two were arrested, and after a hearing, Swart got 5 years, amended to 30 days in jail for his cooperation and everything. And Doliente was
For his cooperation in turning himself in. Well, you ratted yourself out, so we're going to let you off on this one.
Doliente was sentenced to 1.5 to 8 years after testing positive for marijuana, cocaine, and oxycodone.
Okay, so he's not a weed idiot. He was
So-
a burnout before he lit the joint. Why did they say, oh, he decided to get high and that's what messed him up? How about the 5 days of cocaine and oxycodone abuse?
Yeah, he looked like he was in the Vegas movie where he.
Yeah, because that's paranoia. That paranoia doesn't set in with marijuana. When they say you get paranoid when you smoke marijuana, it's just like, did I think the phone was ringing? Maybe somebody's at the door. I should go check it, and no one's there. That's about as rough as it gets. When you think people are following you, that is a paranoia side effect of methamphetamines and cocaine due to sleep deprivation. That's a fact.
And you're still paranoid after you get out of the car, walk away from the vehicle, and there's still nobody coming after you. There's no lights, no sirens, no nothing. You're not going to realize that, oh, wait a minute, that's not cops that are after us. We should just leave.
It's illegal. Go ahead.
Clearly, he wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed.
No, and it's illegal to possess cocaine in your blood as well as outside of your blood in your pocket. So he's doing 1 to 8 years. Well, I mean, they should just be, put them all in jail and let someone else free.
Well, yeah, really. I mean, if you're going to be felony stupid,
Right.
which is clearly what he is.
POW 420 won't be advocating for these guys?
I would think not. They would come under the 75% that basically are guilty of sin, and other than the fact that cannabis shouldn't be legal in the first place.
And they turned
That's
themselves in.
Yeah, I mean, really.
All right, we're going to take a break. That's the news with Benji, the Nug News. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
I'm seeing green, packing my ball. I'm starting up this hits here on Nug Life Radio. Don't you know? Nug Life Radio.
Over 1 ton of marijuana disguised as limes seized at the U.S.-Mexican border. Limes, not limeys, Benji, right?
Yes, limes. the
Okay,
fruit.
describe them as the British. British police mock amateur cannabis grow operation. What is the British priest mock it? So did they let the guy off? Did they take him to jail, the police?
No.
Priest. Did I say priest?
They were just making fun of his grow operation and how pathetic it was.
What a horrible way to go to jail with the cops making fun of how crappy it is. They're like, we're taking you to jail. They put you in handcuffs made of PVC pipe.
Yeah, 'cause they said he had 27 plants in an 11 by 9 foot attic, and they said only 4 of them had leaves on them. The rest were just like dying and just.
Oh.
I can't wait to hear the testimony of them in court. They were all healthy plants who
Right,
weren't going to
right.
produce 37 pounds.
Well, at least that'll give them something. Maybe they would leave and give them, a month and come back.
He said the plants appear to be dead or dying, and only 4 plants had any leaves. So
Arrest them for
sad.
not having a green thumb. That'd be
that's the real crime.
Oh, that's a funny one. British police mock amateur cannabis. We did that. Maryland lawmakers override the veto of marijuana paraphernalia decriminalization. So they were going to let pipes and zigzags and stuff and all the stuff that's considered paraphernalia, dab rigs, blowtorches.
Well, they passed a bill, and originally it didn't. It was a marijuana decriminalization, but it didn't have paraphernalia included on it, and so they passed a new initiative to include that. Trying to get this. This one was a confusing story.
Did they, Benji? Wow, they didn't have it, and then they did. Stay tuned.
Well, they drew up a new bill to include paraphernalia. The government vetoed it, and then the House or the lawmakers went back and said, "No, you're not
So
vetoing
they
this."
overrode
his
They
veto.
overrode the governor who nobody's going to vote on next time because he's being or she's being such a whatever.
Yeah, Governor Larry Hogan vetoed it. So it's like, how are you gonna?
What a stupid name.
How are you gonna?
Can't get hoagier than Hogan.
All right, Larry Hogan. Study shows cannabidiol may help prevent heart attacks. Yay, that's a
Another
happy
thing.
thing. So, my chest pain is definitely anxiety.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because I have a lot of CBD in my system.
Well, it's good for that.
Tomorrow's show, we're going to have Gold Drop. They're going to be on the show tomorrow. Today, thank you to Underground Reserve. Big shout out to you guys. Make sure you guys check them out. And check out HempCon on 420. You can see me tonight alongside Benji Garcia Reyes performing at the Brea Improv. Benji Garcia Reyes will not only be performing but hosting the entire show. That gives him the most stage time. Who'd you bribe for that, Benji? Headliner Stoner Rob, Bruce Jingles will be out there, Zach Miller. Then you can see me February. Well, no. Well, let's just start. What's next week? Are we in February? What month
No,
are we
next week is January. It's
so
the
Cannabis Cup. I'm
yeah.
headlining the Cannabis Cup. Ngayo not available. I'm the only headliner. I'm the main comic for the Cannabis Cup. Me and Mikey Gordon. Big shout out for his Cottonmouth comedy tour thing, I guess. Now that Ngayo's not there, he can put that logo on. Yeah, get all the promo you can. I don't care.
So are you going to get overtime for having to do 2 jobs?
You think so, right? I'm
You get time and a half up there.
do like 50 minutes of comedy. Just do the same 5 minutes 10 times. It's going to be great. And then see me at Champs during the week, and then at Cannabis Cup again at the end of the week. And then we're going to be at the Harbor Collective opening. We're going to broadcast live from there. I'm sure Dennis will make his way down there as well. And then where are we going to be? We're going to be in New Hampshire. And then Seedless.
Seedless is in there. That's
Yeah.
February
We'll
15th,
sing
right?
of old New Hampshire, of
too
the
much
dear old
crap.
Granite State.
This is an Nug Life radio show, a higher level of education. Big shout out to Andrew Hutchins, who is completely confused as to what time we were on. And a shout out to Anti-Edibles for letting us stay there this weekend. We love and appreciate you. And
Yeah,
we will be back
absolutely.
tomorrow for all this
420
great
dating.
stuff. We are finishing just a few minutes early if you're listening on the internet side, right on time on the radio side to make room for the next show up. So keep listening. If everything we just said for the last 2 hours made 0 sense to you, you're like, hey, papi, I don't understand. No comprendo nada. Then good news. Nug Life Espanol comes on next, and you get to get all your great education in brown. We come in brown. Whatever, Benji. Nug Life Radio, a higher level of education for the cannabis counterculture community. Stay tuned. We'll be back tomorrow for some more English education.
Peace.